Good day and welcome to Women on the Move Live. I'm your host, Kim McNair. Now, you know this show is about women who are in business, about business, and ready to do business. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, if you're a pace setter in the community, this show is for you. So I need you to call a friend, tweet a friend. You know what? Hit them up on Facebook and Instagram and let them know that Women on the Move Live is on the air. Well, my guest today is part of the hottest radio show in Atlanta, Michael and Joi in the Morning. I want you all to welcome Joi Pearson. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Kim. How are you?
Good. You looking all peachy, pinkish? What is it?
Thank you.
Mauve?
I don't know.
Blush?
It's going with my rose gold.
Oh, I'm loving it. Yes, that's hot right now.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I think I'm going shopping.
Yeah, pull that watch out.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'm so glad you had time. I know you were just on the air. You zoomed over here. People don't know how gorgeous you look behind the mic.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You know,
yeah.
and I know they can kind of watch through, but you clean up well, girl.
Yeah, well, you know, every once in a while.
Yes, yes. So how long have you guys been on the air? Power 108?
Power 1089. So actually, we just started the radio station, Power 1089, me and Michael. Michael and Joi in the Morning's been on air for going on 3 years in November of this year. So it's pretty exciting.
All right. So do I just pull it on and when I'm driving, I can just turn to it?
How can you check us out?
Right, because I've been on, and I think at that time you were. When I was on last year.
We were on Sensation Station Network.
Right, so now this is the new thing. Can I come back?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
I was like, you could come back and you can bring all your friends to come back.
Hey.
So right now you can listen to us on the TuneIn app. You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And
all of that. Check you out all everywhere. So that's how you can get a tune in and go to the social medias. Okay, well that's good. Now you're a photographer. You have love for the getting behind the camera and the creativity of that art.
I do.
Did you go to school for it? Is that gift that God gave you?
I say that it's the gift that God gave me. When I was a little girl, my dad always had a camera. And so I think just watching him take photos and do video, it just kind of like sparked a bug in me. And when I got older, I just always was the girl with the camera. I always say I was the Asian girl with the camera looking like the tourist everywhere you went. And it just turned into me just taking photos. And then, you know, 10 years later, Joi Pearson Photography has been in existence where we focus on event photography, more corporate event photography. And I've got about 30 photographers that are on staff. So it's pretty exciting.
Get out of here. Look at that. Doing her thing. A woman truly on the move because you're here and there taking pictures everywhere.
Yeah, I know. We just saw each other a couple months ago at the event for the jazz, Women in Jazz event.
Yes. We were right there, girl.
Yes,
well, that's good because, you know, I have a friend who she works in banking.
Okay.
But she says, Dad, I want to go to school. I want to take a class for photography. But is that the right way to go? If you just have a passion and love it, can you just kind of dive in and just start taking pictures? Or you really need to go and get the do's and the don'ts of
It depends on what
zooming in and zooming out.
It depends on what she's trying to do with it. You know, I dived in, and then of course afterwards, that's when I kind of started my education. I went to YouTube University. I Googled the camera that I was using, and that actually kind of gave me, you know, there are so many photographers. Canon teaches classes online. Then there are just amazing photographers that you can kind of find. For me, it was event photography, so I found, I Googled event photographers and just kind of learned from there. But again, I think it just depends. Everybody has an eye for photography. You know, I mean, with these camera phones nowadays, you know, you see so many people that never would have thought of really taking photos that now are a photographer.
Right, right. Okay, so, so she went to Google University. I got it. But a lot of people seem to go there, and with these smartphones, we all smart.
Yeah,
We're all smart. There's not a dumb person in the world right now. And if there is, I'm going to find out what's going on, baby.
They might be a little behind. They might have a flip phone.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Now with the radio station, getting back to radio, that you have a co-host, which is Michael McFadden. We miss him. Mike, we miss him.
Michael A. McFadden.
Michael A. Oh, what's the A stand for?
I don't know, but trust and know he is not writing his name without it.
Okay. All right, the A, we got to look that up. Let's Google that.
McFadden.
Michael A. McFadden. Let's find out what the A is for. If you know, let me know. Tweet me, hit me up, send me a message, because I didn't know what the A is for. So when I see him,
Anthony.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Now, how's the chemistry with you guys? How do you work well together? Because female, male, you guys have been doing this for 3 years. How does the chemistry work? How does that collaboration?
Kim, I honestly, I don't necessarily know how we make it work, but Michael's been on the air for 9 years. He started with Real Talk with Michael McFadden, and I had actually met him at an event doing photography, and a couple years later, he had reached out to me about coming on his show to promote my photography services. And so I just came on a couple times, and then one thing led to another. He was on a show on Sensation Station, and the morning spot came available. And honestly, he just called me, and I said, well, let me try it. But it was just like this brother-sister relationship. He's a little bit older than me, a little bit more wiser.
Okay, we're going to give it to him.
It just allows me the opportunity to be me.
Good.
Michael's really into, the production of it. So he has his notes, his Bible every morning, and I just kind of show up. I do the social media side of it and the marketing side of that, and so we just
keep it real.
Yeah, I'm good at what I'm good at. He's good at what he's good at, and we just been able to make it work. So
well, you guys are doing well. Of course, I get my alerts in the morning. I pop in there and look a little bit or see what's going on, and sometimes I just kind of have it on.
Yeah.
I just I have you guys on, and I toggle over to another page, but I still hear what you guys are talking about. But then I want to chime in because you'll give a shout out. Hey, good morning,
Kim, how you doing, girl?
So I want to support. We have to support one another.
Yes.
And what we're doing in
always.
this field, and being able to, bring good content to the table. And how do you feel about content? Because that seems to be
it's huge nowadays, and I think that content. Being able to create your own content. Obviously we started out with the radio platform of the show, and I wanted to figure out how we could be more visual because we just are in a visual world.
Right.
And so, of course that led me to invent something to allow us to be able to do that. But it's about content creation. Not everybody can afford a platform where you're hiring a videographer every time you need something. And with these smartphones, it gives us the ability to be able to create our own content, chop it up, on your phone.
Yes, I'm learning the movie. I got the movie on
chop
my phone.
It up
I'm
on
doing
your
the
phone, and
thing.
then next thing you know, you've got a 30-second, commercial or a 1-minute commercial that you can put on Instagram.
That's
so
right.
You always have to be finding a way to create content.
Okay. Well, look,
you're going to get lost.
We're going to take a break. We're going to be right back because we want to talk to Joi about the joystick. Just wait and see. I'll be right back.
At Just For You, we provide a full range of women's services. We are passionate about providing personalized and attentive care to help our patients walk through the many phases of a woman's life. We provide preconceptual counseling, pregnancy and postpartum care, well woman exams, and menopause treatment, including bioidentical hormone therapy. We are located at 3976 Highway 42 in Locustville, Georgia.
Well, we are back. Oh my gosh, Joi, this is great. We're having a good time.
We are having a good time.
And I do want to just give a little shout out to Mike. So you told me
shout out to Michael A. McFadden.
Yeah, he's going to be a regular on the TMZ.
So
I got to get this in.
He did a good job the very first time. He got them laughing, and so they said whether or not they can just kind of call him on a monthly basis.
Okay,
so
cool.
He's pretty excited about.
All right.
I said, well, Michael, if you're not ready, I
Look,
got you.
Stay ready.
Right. I
We
stay ready.
Well, look, you're the inventor of this lovely, I have one, the Joi stick. Oh my gosh.
I'm excited. Yeah, so when we talked about content creation, you know, I was saying that I wanted a way to be able to use the live stream aspect for the radio.
Yeah.
And so I ended up coming up with a stand that will allow you to be on multiple platforms with multiple devices simultaneously. And it's called a joystick. And we have been on the website selling merchandise for since January of last year.
But I think that one of the main things that I wanted to kind of have you just elaborate on is, you know, the process of inventing something. You know, how did this all begin?
Yeah.
Like when you said, okay, this is something that's needed. Give us that.
Well, you know, the beautiful thing
The
Kim,
backstory,
is that I didn't think that it was anything that anybody else needed. I just didn't want to have to hold my phone for 2 hours on Periscope while we were on the radio. And so being a photographer, I kind of knew some of the technology that I could use or some of the tools that I could use. And I just pieced some stuff together. The very first joystick had a selfie stick at the top, you know, because being a woman, I know angles, you know, and I know that I need you up here and I don't need you necessarily in my face. And so, so it started off as that, and I just kept playing around with some things, and then a lady actually asked where could she buy one.
What?
And I said, hold up, hold that thought.
Oh,
and
my
then
goodness.
we went and bought the domain name and just started, you know, doing what we needed to do on the back end to kind of make it happen. I didn't know any other inventors, you know, so it was just kind of like, what do we do?
What was like the process of getting the patent? Like, what is it long? How did you know, applying for it?
So I'm still actually, I'm 99% done with the patent application. It took about 6 months just to even do the application.
Wow.
The provisional patent was a lot shorter, and I was able to do that on my own. But when it went to the patent application and the trademarking, I just wasn't secure enough in myself, and so I hired someone to help me with that. So we do have the trademark for joystick, and again, we're about 99% done with the actual patent application. And there are two different kinds that you could get. You can get a utility patent, or you could get a design patent. And I'm actually in the process of getting both, because I just want to make sure that I'm totally secure and I'm totally covered for anybody that, you know, might come from me.
Okay, well, you know what, that's good. I mean, because again, you know, there's so much talent. There's so many people out that are doing so many amazing things, and you know, we don't know who's watching today. That's sitting home on something and say, okay, so you know, what is my first step? What should I do? How do I, you know, and that thought process. Shucks, I might have something at home that I need
I definitely feel like everybody on this earth has two different things in them. They have a book in them, and they probably have an invention in them. And if it's just something that you have thought of that you said, man, this will just make my life easier, now just times that by, you know, 1 million people, because I'm pretty sure that there are enough people out there that would think of the same thing. I love the movie Field of Dreams, because one of the catchphrases in it was, if you build it, they will come. And, you know, and I just came up with something, and then next thing you know, I've been selling for over a year, and I didn't think of that. You know,
right.
And a lot of times
that wasn't the intent.
It wasn't the intent. It was just
to really just put something together that you could use what I happen to have your arm that would make it easier for you to do the radio show.
Exactly.
And I'm glad I just asked that. Ooh, and I don't mean to cut you off.
No
and
problem.
I know it's the subject of time. Podcasting.
Yes.
Okay, so you know, everybody's wanting to do a podcast, do this cast. I mean,
I love the concept of podcasts, but I love the fact that if you add that visual aspect to it, now you can add a whole different way to monetize.
Okay.
Because if I can actually see you, now it's, you know, well, this broadcast is brought to you by Joystick, you know, or whoever the case is. You know, my outfit is brought to you by such and such. You know, my makeup was done by
so
you know,
and
so you have so many more people that now you can put on, and you know, everything takes a village. So you know, imagine if you know you have one TV show, but now you just employ 20 people.
Right, I got you. Well, girl, thank you. You're doing it, darling.
Well,
You are
thank
a true
you
woman
so
on
very
the
much,
move.
Kim.
It was just great. I just, and to just be able to have you here to kind of talk a little bit about that, because we never know who's watching or, who has that book or that invention in them.
Think outside the box. I mean, I always just tell people, just think outside the box, and you'll come up with something just like this.
All right.
So thank you so very much, Kim.
Thank you. Well, look, guys, I'll be back. I got more to talk with Joi, but I got somebody else coming up too. We'll be right back.
Our story begins more than 60 years ago inside an abandoned chicken coop where our founder discovered a retired teacher living, no home, no health care. So she said no to this injustice and yes to transforming lives. It's this drive, this compassion that inspired AARP. Today, we empower people to choose how they live as they age. We advocate for health and financial security. We strengthen communities everywhere. We are AARP Georgia, creating real possibilities.
Hey, my guest today is an awesome, and amazing person. She is the founder of Blossom. I want you all to welcome Miss Diamonde Williamson. How you doing?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Oh my gosh, I love that hair
Thank
color.
you. It's like my signature now. I think everybody recognizes me by this.
Yes, that's your brand, and it
Yes,
works.
thank
Everybody
you.
can. I can't do it.
I think you could.
I can do it.
I think you could.
Really?
The orange and
I
get you
think
some
I'll
highlights.
look for the But
Yes.
it's working for you, and,
Thank
and it's
you.
good to just kind of create your own signature look.
Yes, thank you
People
so
are loving my curls because I do straight and curly, and they like, Kim, I like the curls, So
Yes, curls are good on you.
We'll see how it goes.
Thank
Well,
you.
look, you're here today, and I'm glad you had time to come over and sit down and talk with me and just share
This is honest.
with
This is
with
great.
Atlanta, with all those that'll be tuning in about Blossom.
Yes.
How did this brand originate?
Okay, so I was a producer in reality television for a few years, and I knew I wanted to use my life for good, right? So I grew tired of pitting women against each other on reality, right? Like I worked with a great crew, but the reality wasn't for me. And so when I left one of the shows, I got called to do Iyanla Fix My Life as a producer on
Fix
that.
My Life.
Yeah.
Fix My Life. Okay.
She was fixing my life, okay? I'm like, call it either way. So yes, I was working on Iyanla, and I knew I wanted to continue to do work that was good, like Iyanla, and so the idea came, why don't I just create my own content for my own platform, which then became Blossom, and then it grew into this opportunity to create, an opportunity for everybody who is a content creator, specifically women of color, to have a place for their work to be seen. So, and it just keeps growing, right?
Wow.
Yes,
Now,
thank you.
this is kind of like a Netflix?
Yeah, so honestly, it's more of like a Vice TV. I mean, you could say Netflix when we get our streaming app, but yeah, it's more of like a Vice, like a safe TV destination. A safe digital television destination.
So basically, you guys are pretty much global because people can watch you in China,
They can watch us
you
from
in
everywhere,
Germany,
yes. Canada, Mexico,
wow.
yes.
And I'm quite sure they are.
Yeah, look, I'm praying.
Yes,
I'm praying,
that's
yes.
good.
Thank you.
Now, I know we met some months back at the International Women's Day, which was great. We had a good time.
that.
We had a good time. And you were talking about how you have to register to kind of watch
Yeah,
the
so we
program.
changed things up a lot, actually. So with filmmakers, a lot of times they're doing this really phenomenal work, right? And they don't want to necessarily put it on a platform that's charging for it unless we're paying them. And so we were like, let's open our platform. Let's have a freemium model. So now people can watch our content for free on the platform. We may go back to subscription, but for right now, you can enjoy our site, all of our content from culture to vegan to like how to do things, inspiring content, short films, everything for free on our site.
Wow,
Yeah,
for free.
I love it, for free.
F-R-E-E, free.
Free.
See, and we don't get much of that, because we got to pay the cable.
Right. At the end of the day, the goal is just for people to see the work, right?
To see the work.
When a lot of things are going on in pop culture that some of us may not care about, it's like I'm still interested in teaching myself something, right? So let me go to this platform so I can learn something new.
Now, is it documentaries?
It's like, it really ranges, right? Like we have think pieces, we have short films, we have docuseries, we have animation. It's really this hub of like content enjoyment, right? Where you can come and just enjoy and laugh and cry and be inspired and meditate, whatever it is, right? Like it's based on your feelings. So.
Wow, so that sounds amazing. Now, a lot of things I see now, you talked about docuseries, that seems to be the big thing. I mean, of course, the New Edition one was just amazing.
Yes.
So everyone's doing, and there was others, but it seems like it's just become, it's like all the old groups or people that had things going on, they're
making
really
films out of them.
really coming
I think that's great. I think those are the stories we need to tell. I know for myself, like I love unsung, so when I get to see, so when I get to see these stories recreated in a way that's like entertaining, I think it's great. I think it's great. I mean, New Edition, they're legendary, right?
Yes.
And some of us didn't really see their impact, so to be able to see their impact, I think it's great.
Right, because I didn't know some of the things that were going on either.
Right,
that happened. Now, with all that you put together and getting to the point, because like, you know, you work with OWN, you work with NBC, you work with so many different networks. And what was some of the challenges? What was some of, you know, for someone that may be tuning in, someone like, Dag, I really want to get going. I have this YouTube thing going on, but I just don't know. What advice or what could you give them to kind of get them motivated?
Well,
to
you
get going?
definitely have to have like really good relationships, right? Like you have to have relationships in the industry. There's one person like I will always forever be thankful for because she simply put me in the game, like because of our relationship. So she knew that I wanted to work in television, and she put me with someone who needed, you know, a field associate producer. So from there, I started working on Chris Lee Knows Best. And once you're in, you can stay in as long as you work really hard and you have a good work ethic and you maintain your relationships.
Wow, integrity and relationships is everything.
And work ethic is everything too. You're in a field where it's forever changing, right? Like you're working really fast. You're working 15-hour days. How do you hold up in those circumstances? That's important. So yes, work ethic too.
Well, I'm glad to have the platform for you and so many others to come.
Yes, this is great.
And just share. And I thank you again for coming and being with me. Look, we'll be right back. I tell you, it's more to come.
Hey, what's going on, family? It's your nephew, Willie Mo Jr., and you're watching Women on the Move live with my sister from another mister, Kim McNair. Make sure you keep it locked right here.
Well, my next guest, she's a brand exposure specialist. I want you all to welcome Jamillah Rahmaad. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me, Kim.
Oh, thank you for coming. I know you've been here with some of your clients, and I mean, you're doing some great things. You know, I was a part of the Enrich Her conference. You did an amazing job with that. And I said, oh, she got to come. She got to get on the couch because you have something you can share with other women or other people in the profession. So are you from Atlanta?
No, I'm actually from Flint, Michigan.
Get out of here. Oh, just send them some water, girl.
Oh, we do.
Okay, just want to make sure.
They're still working on problems there, but I've been in Atlanta for 10 years.
10 years, because I saw that you went to school in Michigan and you went to school at Valdosta State.
Yes.
So I was like, wait, is she from Atlanta? And I wasn't sure.
It's home now.
It's home now. And you've been here how long?
10 years.
10 years.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's home. Okay, you can't even. Yeah, you can say by way of Flint, Michigan.
Yes.
That's what I do because I come. Well, we're not even gonna go back to where I come from. I'm always from New Jersey, Florida. Now I'm here. I'm just a global kind of round the way girl.
Hey.
But now with your company, now you know you're dealing with brands. You're a specialist. But I want to get into this PR. Publicist type thing. Break it down. Explain to us. Public relations and the publicist are two different things, right?
No, there's some in the same.
Okay, break it down because they need to know.
There are PR professionals, there are communication professionals, and there's publicists. Publicists specialize in getting you media attention, and that's the only thing they do.
Okay.
That's why I consider myself a brand exposure strategist, because I do more things than just rely on the media to tell your story.
Now, and the public relations part is it any different?
Yep, public relations in itself is just a skill set. So when you say a public relations professional, it's a person who is a professional at a skill set.
Look at that. Because I mean, I saw it on social media. Somebody had put up, publicist is not a PR. Oh, they were going back and forth, boy. It was a lot of dialogue. I said, you know what? I'm gonna have somebody on my show that's gonna clear all this up. It's gonna be clear today. Okay, you cleared it up. Thank you so much. Because you know, this is your field. This is what you do.
Yes, what I love.
All the time. So when you talk about heightening and elevating someone's exposure, brand exposure, is that through just, are you rebranding them? Is it, okay, you need to put more dollars somewhere? Kind of how does that process work? So, you know, hey, I'm coming in and I need some help.
Well, one thing that I always advise people is it's not a cookie cutter strategy for everyone. Everyone is different. Every business is different. Every audience is different. So what I advise people is to really hone in on their messaging. And one of those things is finding your target market, finding that audience and what it is that they're looking for. So I can't really sit here and say, you know, this is what someone needs to do, or everyone needs to rebrand themselves, or everyone should go, you know, towards thought leadership. Everything is going to be different, but definitely pay attention to the messages that you're putting out there. Definitely pay attention to, you know, your market and your industry and the trends that are happening so that you can stay on top of it.
Right, because you work, I mean, you've worked with the Steve Harvey Morning Show, of course, Dr. Novella's, with her and with the Enricher Conference, the Food Network, I think it's Chef Jess or something like that.
Chef Jess.
And so you know, you've kind of, you're doing your doggone thing. You're doing it, you're out there. And it's important that people understand and hear from experts like this, because you can consider yourself an expert. This is your field, you know what, because you have people that are all over the place. Oh, I do this, I do that. And they don't really know what their niche is and how to focus, because I think once you find your niche, then you can really grow and elevate, correct?
Yes, there's riches and niches.
Ah, that's it. I love it.
I stole that though.
Ah,
I want
that's
John
all right.
Henry coming after me.
That's all right. That's all right. It is. It is. So tell me a little bit more about JRPR.
JRPR has been around now for 3 years, and what we do is we help small businesses and creative entrepreneurs build their brands and take it to media outlets. So I do play that role of publicist, but at the same time, we make sure that all their brand assets, whether it's their website, how they talk to media outlets, such as the Kim McNair Women on the Move show, all of those things are important in how you portray yourself, how you portray your brand. That's what JRPR does.
All right. Well, see, they need to know. I mean, because we have a lot of people, again, that are out here in the industry, and presentation is everything.
Everything.
A lot of people don't realize you got to have it together, because people are looking at watching it. It's important. No one knows what's going on inside, you know, until they just see the outside. They don't know what's going on inside until you speak, or when you show up, or however you're going about doing it, and you have to have it together. And you are the one that can pull it together.
I try. I definitely try. And with small businesses, one of the things, and you touched on a key point that I want to talk about. You touched on, you have to know what it is that you're talking about. So I think that with small businesses, one of the things that they struggle with is being able to explain themselves, be able to sit on couches like this and say what their business does and how they help people.
Oh yeah, because they know it is in there, but they just don't know how to say it or how to put it out there and display. Because someone asked me, so what's your goal? What is it that you're trying to do? Where's your goal? You know what? Because you seem like you got a lot going on, Kim. But I want to do whatever you need me to do. I'm here to serve. I'm here to serve.
Yes,
so,
and you can be a leader in your field just by being a servant leader.
That's right. That's right. And that's what I was taught. Yes. And everything that we do is service. It doesn't matter. I mean, even though people, they're going to the jobs and they're saying, oh, I'm in this dead end job, you're still serving someone, because you're doing this that's going to benefit or help someone along the way. And, you know, just look at it as being a servant leader, and it wouldn't be so bad. You know, and people don't understand that, girl.
Yes, we work through passion.
Yes.
Yes, if you can work through passion, you'll eventually get led to the paycheck, and you'll eventually get led to the brand that you want to represent, that you feel good about. And that's what I always tell people, work from the passion first.
Right. And one thing I've been pushing a lot of is focus on the mission and not the position, because some people are so busy worried about their position. But what is the mission behind it? If you focus on that, it's gonna come. You know, it's all gonna come to fruition. You don't have to be so focused on that. Well, look, I thank you for sitting down with me today, taking some time out, girl. I know you're busy doing your thing.
Thank you.
All right. Look, we'll be right back. Thank you for tuning in to another week of Women on the Move. I'm your host, Kim McNair. This show is being brought to you by AARP of Georgia. Look, I want to see you all tuned in right here next week.